I don't know if you guys have been following it. I kind of tacitly follow it here and there, but I still find myself intrigued by a lot of the drama and intrigue that goes on the Royal Caribbean World Cruise tour. If you're not familiar, this is a 9 month long cruise on a giant cruise ship by Royal Caribbean that basically passengers pay upwards hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend 9 months on a cruise ship that I don't think it circumnavigates the globe, but kind of, sorta, I think. Um, Based off of things that random people have heard. It's a big thing on TikTok. There's all sorts of drama that's been happening as a result of people paying obscene amounts of money to be parts of exclusive inner circle clubs on this 9 month cruise ship that affords them the ability to do things that other people who are on this cruise aren't allowed to do because they aren't a part of those packages. Like, for example, one of the things I've heard is that the members who pay, I forget what it's actually called, but they paid a certain amount of money to be a part of like some kind of a upper tier of passengers, and they were allowed to go see the Northern Lights. But the people on the cruise that weren't a part of that tier weren't allowed to see the Northern Lights. Now, I don't know how they mandated that. Seems like it's pretty easy. If the Northern Lights are in the sky and you're there, you could probably just kind of look up and see. But I don't know if they just like shut the curtains on everyone from the outside, lock their cabin doors. Like, nope. If you wanna poke your head out the window and look up, you're gonna have to slide a couple $100 bills under the door there. Once we have them firmly in hand, then we will open the windows and let you look up at the sky. I don't know how they police that, but apparently stuff like that, and also not being allowed to attend like town halls, like little mini town halls that they have on this ship for that upper tier of passengers, causes a lot of anger amongst passengers who still paid a shit ton of money to be on this cruise, but don't get to have any kind of involvement or say on what happens on the ship because, they're going to be on this ship for 9 months. You would think they would have some level of input or say. There are rumors that it was creating like a weird kind of caste system, the haves and the have-nots. It's really playing out in this weird I can't say it the French way, le misérable of the high seas, the le misérable of the high seas. Who is going to be Royal Caribbean Jean Valjean? It's all fascinating to think about, like, and all sorts of other drama related to that too. There's a black woman on there who keeps being asked if she's the help, basically asked if she works there, and when she informs them that she doesn't work there, they're like, "Oh, how did you afford this?" Shit like that. Hilarious stuff. I mean, if you get on a 9 month cruise, you're kind of asking for it. There was also some recent developments about some of the passageways, some of their ports being removed from the itinerary because of weather concerns and people being upset about not being able to go to like the Falkland Islands and stuff like that. But hey, you know what? Sometimes the seas are choppy. You got to be careful with that sort of thing, and you don't want to end up next to the ocean gate down there. So do what you can to be safe. And in the spirit of doing what they can to be safe, there has been a rumor circulating on this ship of already disgruntled lower class as they sharpen the guillotines and prepare to launch an assault on the upper crust, staying a couple cabins above them. That's going to play out hopefully in a hilarious Bastille Day of the Seas. There's a new rumor that's being circulated on the ship that Royal Caribbean actually had to address. So let's talk about this real quick. Royal Caribbean addresses rumors spreading among passengers that 9 month cruise could be cut short. The Ultimate World Cruise has been a TikTok phenomenon as travelers document their time aboard, including questions about its future itinerary amid global conflicts. Yes, a popular TikTok content creator aboard the Ultimate World Cruise is sharing a rumor spread on board that the 9 month sailing could end early. In the video, she says the word is spreading that the cruise could end in Los Angeles due to conflicts in the Middle East impacting the future itinerary. I had never thought about this before. Of course, Of course, why wouldn't that be the case? If you're going to pseudo circumnavigate the globe, part of that, I would imagine, is going through the Middle East because you go through that Suez Canal to cut through Saudi Arabia, the Mediterranean. You get over there towards India, and you go down to the Indian Sea, and then you head below India, Sri Lanka, and all of that. You end up near Indonesia and whatnot. Why wouldn't you take that route? But you can't do that right now because the Houthi rebels have launched a blockade of that canal in response, in their words, to the ongoing genocide campaign in Palestine, which is a hilarious turn of events as far as it goes, specifically to these people on this ship. Like, what else could go wrong on this ship other than the captain coming over your intercom?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We regret to inform you that we have encountered a little bit of an issue here. Currently, we are being boarded by a ragtag group of Houthi rebels. There's nothing to fear. They don't seem intent on killing anyone right now. But in lieu of this, we've decided to turn the ship around as best we can. Hopefully, we won't get stuck like all of those freight liners that you saw in the news during the pandemic. But obviously, this route is no longer safe for us as we are finding ourselves careening into the middle of a very delicate geopolitical hellstorm of which we haven't seen in this world in quite some time. So just hang tight. Enjoy the shrimp cocktail that we have laid out in the cafeteria. David Blaine will be performing later, and hopefully we can get us back on our way to enjoying a path of luxury and leisure without disrupting the ethnic cleansing campaign that's currently taking place in the Middle East and those that are violently resisting it. So once again, thank you for choosing Royal Caribbean cruise liners for your vacationing purposes, and keep your head low.
I mean, I imagine that that's probably not what anybody had on their radar when they boarded this thing for 9 months. Well, let me take a look at what this actual map looks like. I guess we can see it here. They go way up there, up towards the North Sea, down to, so this, I guess, but you know, they were actually, I don't get it. Oh wait, they're over here. They were over here. Are they going this way? Okay, that's what they are. So, okay, there are two Americas on this map, so that was what confusing me. So I guess they departed from here. They went down the eastern coast of South America. They bypassed the Falkland Islands. I guess that's about where they're at right now. Or where they last were on the 15th. I guess maybe they're probably around here. They're talking about, the rumor is that they're going to cut it short in LA, which is not much of a world tour. You basically just went down, you did a tour of the South American coast, which is cool. That's not bad. The tour of the South American coast is not what you paid for. Hopefully they get a substantial refund, but I guess the idea was once they get to LA, they go out towards Hawaii, they go out to the Oceania, French Polynesia, or the Polynesian Islands, head over to New Zealand, Australia, just beneath Indonesia, probably cutting through some bit of Indonesia. Kind of impossible to do that with all those islands there. It looks like there's some going up towards China and shit too, China and Japan. I don't know. I guess that's a big hook. They go up towards the Korean Peninsula, then come back down alongside mainland China. They go underneath. They go underneath Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, and then this is the trouble spot here, because normally when there aren't Houthi rebels causing trouble in that canal, you would just go right through Abu Dhabi and all of that. You would go right through that canal and you would cut right across the top of Africa and you would come out right below Europe. And then I guess they would go up through Europe and up around near Norway and whatnot, cut across, which seems like this area seems perilous. This seems like a perilous area. So I would be scared about that. I would have much rather, I guess you want to hit up your European joints, but I'd much rather get back to America probably by going down here rather than going up towards the North Sea. But I guess the initial plan was to go up towards the North Sea and cut across, and then once you get to Canada, head alongside the East Coast back down towards Miami. But if this part of the route isn't available, the only other option is to go down the Horn of Africa and basically do what you did in South America, only, you know, you're in Africa this time. It from what I recall, because they were talking about having to do this with some of the shipping containers, the shipping freights, the freightliners, basically. Freightliner the right word for a ship? I think that's a train. They were talking about those shipping ships, basically, having to reroute from going through this canal here to going around the Horn of Africa, and they were saying that adds like an additional 29 days. I'm assuming, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's bad of me to assume, but I assume that this cruise ship moves a little faster than those Freightliners. But if they don't, then I guess that's an additional 29 days on top of that 9-month period. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's not an option because they probably don't account for an additional 29 days worth of maintenance or cost on this thing. So yeah, absent an ability to cut through here and not being outfitted to go underneath the Horn, I guess their only option is to make this world tour, start here, go down here, and end here. And then just all of this from here, all of that off the table. Which I imagine would be a bummer for people who paid money for that. The rumor that I've been hearing is that the Royal Caribbean is thinking of ending the world cruise in Los Angeles due to problems in the Middle East and us not being able to go through the Red Sea and the Suez Canal, she says in the video. She adds that it's worrying if those plans are true and the cruise line hasn't informed passengers yet. We would certainly like to know. The cruiser adds that she thinks there are alternatives to ending the cruise early, such as taking a detour around Africa or dropping passengers off in Dubai and flying them to the Mediterranean. Yeah, that detour around Africa is no trivial feat. She concludes, I don't like putting rumors out there, but I think the passengers that invested so much money and so much time to see the world deserve to know what's going on. I agree with that. I mean, it's definitely the least important thing happening in the world, but I definitely agree that they should let those dudes know what's going on. In a statement shared with People from the Royal Caribbean, the cruise line confirmed it will continue its journey as planned. The Ultimate World Cruise has given... Oh, boy. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The Ultimate World Cruise has given its guests the opportunity to see the world in a unique way, and we have loved watching their reactions to this incredible experience. This adventure will complete its first segment in February, and we can't wait to kick off the next part of the journey shortly after and begin exploring Asia. The statement says, 2 passengers on board the ship tell People they have not heard about the rumor about the cruise ending early. I mean, dude, if they take this cruise liner through the Suez Canal right now, oh my goodness. I mean, they're probably scrambling to like get some kind of escort. Like they want the U.S. Navy to escort them to this through that fucking canal. A crisis in the Suez Canal may be the cause for concern among passengers. Pirate attacks on cargo ships in the Red Sea are causing major disruptions in the region. According to the New York Times, the conflict between Israel and Palestine, as well as U.S. military actions in Yemen, are also ongoing. Dude, I mean, I wish ill on no one right now. But for the sake of drama, I almost want them to go through the Suez Canal. I want to see what happens. It's a real Andy Cohen moment on my part. Watch what happens live. Let's watch what happens live when the floating embodiment of the decadence, the opulence, the waste, and destructiveness, and the symbolism of the imperial first world, the wealthiest of the haves. Maybe not the wealthiest. It's expensive. It's expensive, up to 117,599 per person, but it could always be more expensive. But still, it's a pretty opulent symbol of the wealth that the imperial first world has. To have that just very casually coast its way through a hotbed of incredible disruption, largely caused by the policy of said imperial first world, the colonial global north, at a time right now when there is like even more conflict brewing as a result of what's happening in Israel and Palestine. Is it possible? Like, is it possible for this cruise ship to go through the Suez Canal completely and entirely unmolested? Maybe if they can get an escort, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems like a hell of a risk for me. And if I was on that ship as a passenger, I would be like, hey guys, if you got to end this early, because of fucking what's going on in that canal, let's do it. Let's do it. I know I paid 117 grand, but I did not pay for fucking getting involved in that shit. That's what I would be saying, at least. But it sounds like Royal Caribbean wants to do it. They want to go through with it. I wonder what the over-under is on them actually going through with that. I'm going to put my money on that. That leg of the trip is going to end up getting canceled in some way. I don't know if they're going to go around Africa, or I don't know if they're just going to like stop and let people disembark in Dubai or something, Abu Dhabi, and then just get plane tickets and fly someplace else. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm going to speculate that they're probably not going to go through with going through the Suez Canal. It's an interesting development, though, nonetheless. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about the possibility. I mean, it's weird because I do follow what's going on in the Middle East. And like I said at the top of this, I do also pay attention to the TikTok drama posts for the World Cruise Tour. And it never connected in my mind that these two worlds could collide. These two worlds could be at loggerheads with one another, which is fascinating. I again, like Andy Cohen, I want to watch what happens live.